Shamar Stewart has a field day at training camp. We'll talk about this coming up next on the Cincinnati podcast. Coming up on the Cincinnati podcast.
Hello, world. Cincinnati. You guys are the Yoshi creators, bro.
It's a new beginning. You know what that means, right?
But I know this, the whole NFL is scared of the Bengals.
Welcome to the Cincinnati podcast. I am Ace. He is Shamar Stewart Sr. We make up the Cincinnati podcast. Nah, that's my partner, Zim Huda. He been getting a lot of people. Y'all let us know in the comments. Does Zim look like Shamar Stewart? I want to know. Everybody wants to know. Everybody been sending him out. He was posting memes and stuff on Twitter earlier. I didn't know if that was him or Shamar. I don't know.
This is
I don't
crazy.
know. What's up? What's happening, partner?
Nothing much, man. Before we just went on, I was just talking Ace's head off. Let me tell y'all, we talk about it a little bit, but Ace, I'm gonna ask you this: is this, since I've been in like high school, this might be the hardest working summer I've had in a very long time. Like, our sons are playing basketball at a high level. Make sure y'all go check out Ace's tweet too, because Moon is part of a good cause currently right now. If you go to his page, you can click, you can link. You don't have to donate or anything like that, but there is a good cause behind it. But also, just help us out on the pod, help Moon out. Shout out to Moon. But bro, Ace saw me like sweating. I just came from another workout. I've been working out at the gym on the court since 3:30, bro. Where we at 9:30? Like, I've just been going from training to training. I feel like I'm in really good shape, but goodness gracious, I am tired, bro.
Nah, for sure, man. It's that time of the year. Hey, you was winding down. Summer is always the time for work. And speaking of work, we have updates from Bengals training camp. Now, before we get into that, the last time we had a show, Shamar Stewart was not at camp yet, right? So when we finally got the news, I actually wanted to go live, but at the time we had, like you said, family commitments and stuff like that. What was your reaction to Shamar Stewart signing? Like, I get it. We were feeling like the time was kind of ticking, hearing things here and there. You know, it seemed like things were kind of coming to a point, like Shamar said himself, like, I need to just get in camp. Let's just go ahead and get it done. So unless you've been under a rock, Bengals and Shamar Stewart came to an agreement. The I guess meeting in the middle was him getting his signing bonus earlier, which was something that was mentioned a while ago, right? So they do that. It's $500,000. He shows up. Everybody's happy, right? Everybody goes from, even the media. It's funny because, like you said, it's not only been a tiring season from us, you know, training our sons and stuff like that. It's also been tiring because of dealing with these different narratives. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins contract, Shamar Stewart. It was like every, I don't know about for you. I think most Bengals content creators, every day was Shamar Stewart, Trey Hendrickson, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, this whole offseason. So I think now that we were finally able to put a rest to that, what were your thoughts when Shamar Stewart shined with the whole situation, just to put a bow on it?
I think there was a sense of relief. I thought the last show that we did, and I was telling you this earlier, I was like, I might have went a little bit overboard where I was saying, I think you're seeing what I'm saying, like, where there's a lot of people that are like, man, F Shamar, like, I don't even care. And now that he's there, I'm like, nah, bro, we need him, right? And on the last show, it wasn't even that I haven't been critical on Shamar. I was more critical on the situation and the agent and all these different things. It's just so exhausting, right? But one thing I was saying is, like, they need to think about, like, long term, are we trading this guy or whatever? Because once we get to year 3, we're gonna be having the same problems. Like, you know, like, people don't realize. Even I was listening to Yoshi talk today. You know, this is year 3 for Yoshi. You know, you get to year 3 for a lot of these guys, they're gonna be looking like, yeah, what's up with my extension? So it's like, that's what I was kind of hinting at on the last show. It's like, if Shamar Stewart get like a little if he gets nicked up or anything like that, I still think that that's in play. And I think it is a toxic situation. But Shamar did something today, as we're going to talk about, that I think gives you a glimpse of how we can all put that behind us. If he doesn't have results, it's always just going to come back up. And I think that that's what I was alluding to in the last show. But I jumped the gun because when you do look at it, and we were talking about this earlier, we're about 12 days, I think, away from the first preseason game. So he's literally got like 30 days before the season starts. Or somebody correct me if I'm wrong. It might be more than that. It might be like 40 days or something. But regardless, he's got enough time to be okay. You can't get that time back. That's just the way life goes. It is what it is. But I was relieved just to get that situation behind us. And I guess that's all that really was. Because to me, now, for me, I can't speak for everybody, of course, but to me now it's more water under the bridge. And I think that now that he's there, you're starting to see what the depth chart could look like. For sure. And I think for me, like, some people were on the side of like, man, really all of this for $500,000, which is kind of crazy because $500,000 is still a lot of money. But especially for the regular folks. But, you know, like you said, you can't go back in a time machine and change that, right? Like, so at this point, it's kind of like, let's move forward. That's kind of where I was at. Like, yeah, we could have did the deep dive into was it really, but at this point, like, who really cared? Honestly, this wasn't a topic that I enjoyed talking about or covering every single time. But at certain points, we just had to give our opinions and where they were at with the circumstances. Now, my opinion is, now that this is over, let's get to football. And I think Shamar kind of did that when he kind of talked today and yesterday. It's like, man, let's just get to football. Like, this other stuff, these headlines and all of that. Like, the fact, I will say this, and I think he said it today. The fact that he showed up to Paycor Stadium at 5 a.m. to get a jump start on like the defense and making sure that he's comfortable. Like, these are the things that you like to see, especially from a player that your franchise has brought on. It's showing that he's serious. It's showing that I think he kind of said the first day he was kind of nervous. Obviously, he's trying to catch up with everything. And that was one of the reasons that I was like, get him in there, because we all have heard, obviously we never played in the NFL, but we always interview these guys and they talk about how the terminology is different, the speed is different. So there's going to be that adjustment period. But I think him being able to get to PBS, get that first day out of the way, I think today we saw one of the reasons why the Bengals drafted him. The athletic specimen that he is, his explosiveness, he was able to break up plays and things of that nature today, get into the backfield, tip passes at the line. Like, these are things that the Bengals were lacking. We didn't have a disruptive defensive line, right? I can't tell you how many times we saw passes batted down at the line of scrimmage. Honestly, I don't feel like I've seen that very much since the Carlos Dunlap days. So for him to bring something, we ain't had that since Dunlap.
We ain't had that since Lowe. So like, he's bringing something else to it, and I love that majority of the reps the first day he just took all of them. So what were your thoughts on like his first day and second day of camp from that standpoint?
I thought the first day, football shape, I had a tweet. Like, my tweets, if people follow I'm not saying you should follow Zim Hude. If anything, you need to follow Cincinnati.
You should follow Zim Hude. You should.
More importantly, let's follow Cincinnati Pod. That's more importantly. We need to get Cincinnati Pod need to be at 10K with the amount of views that account gets. Please make sure, if you're watching this, please make sure you go to Cincinnati Pod on Twitter. Also, if you're watching this on Twitter or Facebook or wherever you're at, we appreciate you very much. Doesn't cost you anything. Go to YouTube and go check us out. But I thought that the first day you saw how big of an athlete he was compared to all the other guys that are in the same position group. The only time he didn't look bigger than everybody out there on the field was when he was next to Mims and like Orlando Brown, right? The two of the biggest people in the National Football League. Aside from that, he looked bigger than everybody else. I'm not going to say he's Myles Garrett like, because I you know what I'm saying, I don't know his build, but I will say his frame is way different than what we had. And one thing I can give the Bengals credit for, when you think about the Mims pick and you think about the Shamar Stewart pick, for years, think about how long as Bengal fans we have been talking about, I want them to get guys that have high RAS scores. I want them to get guys that are athletic. I thought for the first time, we're now seeing we have bigger, stronger, more athletic guys out there, regardless of how good you think they are. And even the Miles Murphy pick. These are bigger, stronger, athletic guys. So even in I think you could look at a lot of teams that use that same formula. I'm sorry, my dog just ran by with a football. That was crazy. Wemby is wild. But to me, that was there. But football shape versus gym shape is totally different. He looked exhausted on a lot of drills. Fast forward to day 2. Pass breakup, tackle for a loss, another pass breakup, very active. Even on day 1, there is a clip of him getting into somebody's chest with his, like, as soon as the ball is snapped, like him getting in, I think it was Fairchild, getting to his chest as soon as the ball was snapped. Disruptive. Like, you got to think for a team running like an RPO or anything like that, you might get that play off, but the timing of it is off a little bit if now the guard is in the lap of the play, regardless if you get the play off. And that's something that we haven't had as somebody that's disruptive. So I thought that showed up today, was like he was on one. And then you saw McKinley Jackson afterwards say, yeah, I think he even got more than that. You remember he played with him. So he's like, bro,
Right.
He didn't even get into his bag. There was another clip of Jerry Montgomery, the new defensive line coach, showing Shemar a club move, and I think he was doing like another under swim move. And in both of those moves, he made Shemar do it again. And then he talked about his hand placement, and then he made him do it again. And then he showed him like the correct way to do an arm bar. And Shemar was like, bro, if Jerry don't like it, he's gonna make you do that joint over and over again. And then Osai afterwards, we got a lot of information today from a lot of the players. Then Osai afterwards was saying how he was like, man, he just got to clean up some little stuff there. But he like, yeah, like, you know, this is what it looks like. And Jerry Montgomery worked with Rashawn Gary, who just went to his first Pro Bowl this past year. And a lot of their measurables, a lot of their profiles are very similar. That's a guy that didn't have a lot of production in college. That's a guy that Jerry Montgomery had to go and work with. So that's what I've urged people all along. Like, I know you're a big quarterback sack numbers guy. I'm more of a, when it comes to the defensive ends and how we're working them, I think that I'm more so into who can make plays up and down the line of scrimmage. So year 1 of Shamar Stewart doesn't really revolve around sack numbers for me. It's more about, can he chase down Lamar Jackson in both of them games? Can he disrupt plays and be effective in the run game? Can he cause pressures that just funnel people into Trey Hendrickson? If he just gives me that, along with Miles Murphy giving me that year 1, it might not justify picking him in the first round if he doesn't have the sacks to match with it, but that alone would give me enough hope or whatever I need to say I think that puts us in a Super Bowl conversation.
Yeah, I think, like you said, you pointed out, the Bengals have different body types. Like you said, seeing Joseph Osai, and then you see Shamar Stewart, and then you see a Miles Murphy, and then you see the possibilities of what this defensive line can be. They are essentially going to have guys lining up all over the place. They have versatility from that standpoint. You know, I'm interested to see, do they line him up at the 3 tech or inside, you know, with a Trey Hendrickson there. Obviously, Trey Hendrickson not being there, we don't know what the packages could look like. So as it stands right now, the guys that are getting the snaps are the guys that should be getting the snaps. Miles Murphy, Shamar Stewart, Joseph Osai. Now you start to look around this room, and then you also see some of the other guys like Chris Jenkins. Like, the athleticism on this defensive line, low-key, is a little crazy. Like, it hasn't produced yet, right? But you can understand what kind of direction that they're going in. They're looking for different body types, but they're looking for athletic guys that can move, be fast. You kind of talked about that, kind of segues into some of the guys that have stood out in camp. So obviously Shamar Stewart stood out today. He's had a really good day from that standpoint. Were there any other players that looked good to you? And I know we kind of had a conversation, and I think you tweeted it out earlier about T. Higgins. Like, it's expected that T. Higgins is going to be good, right?
Right.
But you were talking about how good he's been. Jermaine Burton, another guy that's really standing out. Yoshi looks like he's in shape.
Yep.
Who are some of those guys that you think have stood out thus far with training camp as they just put pads on today?
Careful with the who looks good one with the Christian Wilkins allegations going on out here. You know, I don't know. You know, you got to make sure you're very clear on that. You know, I don't want you showing up to these games trying to kiss fans on the forehead or anything. I don't
think we got any forehead kissers in the locker room. Hey, I wanted Christian Wilkins, but at the end of the day, I don't know. It seems like it's a whole that's been like a trending topic on Twitter today, and I'm like, to see that be like what divided their locker room is a little crazy.
That's wild. I mean, in a million years, I wouldn't have thought like.
Who do you think it was? Who do you think somebody was like? It was probably.
I don't know, but there's a pic. There's a big. Hey, bro, hold up! But there's a video of him kissing Mike Gesicki going around the internet right now, which is wild. Like
on the head,
on a cheek, kind of neck.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. He did that to Joe. I think Joe might try to choke him if he did that.
I think Joe might be pissed. Joe looked like he would get pissed. You ever see that video?
Joe looked like he was pissed when Shamar told him he had a 99 and he did.
Hey, look, hold on. Let's deviate real quick. Tell me, don't you think this? Maybe I got this wrong. Everybody about to Google Mike. Damn, Mike Gesicki got kissed by. Yeah, it's out there. Joe had a. Damn, I'm so off my game. Let me ask you this: when Jamar told him in the 99, the type of competitor that I think Joe is, I saw people say that Joe looked like he didn't care. I looked at that and I was like, I think Joe throughout the year. Remember when he told Jamar in the Lions game in 2021, he was like, yeah, you see that little area down there? That's called the end zone. Like, get in there. I could see Joe coming back later in the season, like Jamar dropped the ball or something. Like, yeah, like that's the 99 you was talking about. Joe is real spiteful like that. And I'm going to tell you another thing that he would do. I think Joe, y'all going to get a soundbite of Joe Burrow throwing a touchdown. And he'd be like, damn, I still can't get a 99. Y'all keep on playing with Joe like he doesn't care about that type of stuff. He walks around with a chip on his shoulder for everything. Maybe I'm misreading it. Did you feel the same way? Like Joe is like I'm feeling a certain type of way?
Yeah, I would feel a type of way because like, how is Joe not a 99? Like if Lamar's a 99, how is Joe not a 99? Please explain that to me. If Josh
the comment section said, well, won't he win more? And he'll get a 99.
Okay, I guess
what does that have to do with a 99 though?
Joe Thomas was like a 99 and the Browns never won. Like, so what are we doing? To me, the thing is you had this 99 club, right? Josh Allen is in it, he's the MVP, cool. Lamar Jackson is in it. All right. There's another guy that was in that conversation in terms of the MVP. That was Joe Burrow. Like he even got some votes for MVP, some first place votes, right? It wasn't many of them, but he got it. How he ends up, the rumors say he's going to be like a 97 or something like that. I just don't understand it from that perspective because, Joe Burrow is probably, if you're holding the regular season performance against him, you didn't hold it against Jamar. Like Jamar, yeah, he had a triple crown and all of that. You didn't hold it against Justin Jefferson. They had a good season, but I don't know. I just feel like if you're gonna make someone a 99, you could have put them both in together because that was Joe's best season that we've ever seen thus far. I still think there's another level that he can tap into, but you're talking about 5,000 yards, 4K, or not 4K, but 5,000 yards, 41 touchdowns. I think 43 total, if I'm not mistaken. 70% completion percentage. I mean, what are we doing here? It's almost like if it comes out and he's like a 95 or something, bro, to me it's just a joke for real from that standpoint. But at the end of the day, It is a video game. At the end of the day, I think Joe Burrow will eventually be a 99. I thought it was crazy, like Jamar said, that he's the first ever Bengal that was a 99. And I thought it was dope because we don't really hear him talk about AJ Green that much. But for him to be like, man, I would have thought AJ Green would have been like a 99 before, or maybe a Geno Atkins, or maybe somebody. But the Bengals never really had the spotlight like that. And I think that Jamar Chase, this is my bold take, I think Jamar Chase or Joe Burrow will be the first Bengals player ever in the history of Madden to finally grace the cover. I'm gonna have to talk to my homeboy because I got people over at EA Sports, right? And sometimes I talk to him. I respect our relationship. I don't try to get too much into it. But I remember at one point I was like, hey, Jamar Chase needs a face scan. And I think he might have seen the tweet and they might have got Jamar the face scan. Not having a face scan for him was crazy. but yeah, I'm gonna have to nudge him kind of like, and it seemed like Jamar had to make a call. It didn't seem like Jamar was gonna get the 99. It seemed
I don't know
he got win.
Did you see on Nightcap where Chad said he blocked Jamar?
He blocked Jamar?
Yeah, but he said Jamar pressed him. He might have been joking, but Jamar definitely meant that he might have been making a joke out of it.
If they really, I don't think Jamar is lying, because I don't think Jamar would have reached out to Chad if it wasn't that he got wind that he wasn't going to be at 99.
Right.
And I think him pressing them, like if you notice, anytime anybody presses them, they always adjust something, right? But it's a hard sell for you to say a guy that just won the Triple Crown last year and has been one of the faces of the league is not a 99. I just don't understand how you would have been able to sell that.
I feel like they didn't want to give it to him just like everything else. And I'm not going to go on a tangent about how the plight of the Bengal fan and like my whole thing. You know how I feel about it. And I tell Willie this all the time. And I just want to say this briefly. I know that everybody wants to be realistic about, the Bengals and saying like, hey, well, if the front office doesn't do this and we don't do this, if our own fans are doing that and everybody around the team is doing that and then everybody you see on TV is doing that, and all these different people are doing that, it goes hand in hand with all of your awards. It goes hand in hand with everything else that you want to happen. Because if you're negatively speaking about the Bengals all day, they don't have to answer to nobody, and it gives them more leeway to just say, yeah, we don't care if you get a 99. Like, I'm on the internet all day fighting for Jamar Chase to be on a league of his own. They like, why are you talking so much trash about Justin Jefferson? Justin Jefferson didn't get no Triple Crown. And so I'm making clear this don't really even got nothing to do with Justin Jefferson. It's a method to my madness. I don't want them talking about Justin Jefferson in the same breath as Jamar Chase, because what'll happen is the moment that Justin Jefferson does anything in a playoff game or anything like that, they're gonna say Justin Jefferson, he's way better than Jamar Chase. That's why, like right now, Bengals fans, we're very, very honorable to be like, man, both of them are really good. I'm here to tell you, all 31 other teams, they'll be like, whoever the guy is, like, ask a Browns fan, Myles Garrett is better than everybody. Ask a Cowboy fan, CD Lamb is way better than everybody. Ask a Steelers fan, TJ Watt is better than everybody. Because once you make it clear that you're so much better than them, then they're forced to give you recognition for it. So as long as everybody's trying to be honorable and be like, Justin Jefferson and Jamar, they're like neck and neck and whatever. Like, no, they're not. It's a Triple Crown. Justin Jefferson hasn't had any playoff success. If you don't do that, history is going to tell you that you're not going to get a 99 rating for your best players. You're not going to get Jamar Chase wasn't even an offensive player of the year and he's the youngest Triple Crown winner of all time. And the only reason why they keep on getting away with stuff like that is because we let them. As fans, as social media enthusiasts, as writers, as all these different things, they get on TV and they don't distinguish that Joe Burrow is like that. Joe Burrow did lead the league in touchdowns, yards, and everything. If you don't do that, they'll just continue to pass you by on everything. And if you think that being realistic is talking about how the Bengals don't do this and do that, that's fine. Just know when it's time to give out awards, you're not going to get any, because now they don't have anybody pushing back on any of their narratives. And that's where I think people don't understand like why I'm here. They're like, why you always been like you're a bootlicker for the front? No, I'm not. I'll tell you the front office sucks sometimes or whatever. But at the same time, when the front office does something real good, like sign Orlando Brown, I'm gonna be the person that gives you 100 tweets about it because I need to distinguish that the Bengals did sign the number one free agent in that offseason. And then they come back this offseason and sign the number one free agent in T. Higgins. Nobody on TV is going to tell you that. None of the top social media enthusiasts for Twitter and all that, none of them are going to tell you that. Somebody has to say it. And you can say, yeah, you're being a homer. That's cool. I'm going to be a homer. I'm a Bengals fan. Let's go into what we were talking about originally before we got sidetracked with the Madden stuff. People that have stood out in the camp. I thought that in the beginning of all of this, one thing I was looking for is Evan McPherson. Evan McPherson, up until yesterday, was 18 for 18. So he's been perfect. They made him kick a 52-yard at the end. There have been other guys like TJ Slayton, who's even on that one-handed catch that Shemar had in the back of the end zone. I thought that TJ Slayton put on a lot of pressure on Burrow on that rep. TJ Slayton's been showing up a lot, and I think quietly TJ Slayton is our number one free agent that we signed this past offseason. I guess we'll see. But there's a lot of these guys that are really, really standing out. Knight being next to Logan Wilson seems to be in the right place at the right time. Also, Josh Newton as a leader is saying all the great things. He threw up yesterday. He was like, that's just my weakness leaving the body. That's a cold bar right there. He comes back
watching film with Joe Burrow too.
Watching film with Joe Burrow. So then today had a good pass breakup on Jamar Chase. So there are some guys that are standing out like that. Miles Murphy has kind of been hit or miss. I've seen a little bit, and the pass came on today, didn't show up as much. There's a little bit of this, like him flashing at times. But those are some of the guys that stood out to me. What were some of the guys that stood out for you?
I think most of the guys that I mentioned earlier, I know they talked about Dax playing in the slot as well. I think people that look bad or have looked bad, which take this with a grain of salt because pads and stuff just came on. We don't know, what the situations are, but every time I see a play happening and a big catch happening, it's been on DJ Turner, unfortunately. So Juan Drago, I hope that he turns it around at camp. Other guys, like, to me, the backup line situation, just altogether, not a specific player, has not looked good. Obviously, they've getting hit with injuries there. Lucas Patrick, I think you'd have to say that that's on the downside right now because your
he's
best
out
ability,
right now. He's
that's what I'm saying. So like him, your best ability is availability. He's not available right now. So right now, that's not looking good in terms of that. I know that we've drafted, other linemen and signed other linemen, but reserve linemen have just been getting killed, it seems like, in my opinion. So I think that that's not looking as good. But in terms of that, that's thus far the biggest thing that I've seen is Juan Drago, man. He's just been on highlight after highlight, and that's been a question of what are these young Bengal corners going to look like, and that cannot be a weakness that the Bengals have. That cannot translate into the season. So hopefully that's going to be better. But we'll see. We'll see, bro. What about you? Who do you think didn't look good?
Before we keep it going, we're going to just let you know that our producer's letting us know that we need to continue the rest of the show on YouTube. Please make sure that you come over to YouTube. We appreciate you on social media right now. If you're on Twitter, please move on forward to the next chapter where we're talking about the guys that aren't looking as good. We are going to be solely on YouTube right now. But I did want to say this. I think that it is a little unfair for me just by clip saying that these guys are looking a little bit less than, I guess. But I will say in a lot of these clips that we're looking at, it's constant with DJ Turner, that he hasn't been looking good in all of the clips. It's been really constant with some of the guard play. I did talk about Slayton. The guard play, I've been seeing a lot of push. You even saw Shamar Stewart get a lot of good push on Fairchild. You saw him working on Volson as a result of Patrick being out. He lined up on the outside and he was at the 5. But then I think he comes inside the formation to be able. He came inside the formation. I was like, bro, I can't even finish the sentence with you right here. But he switched off, and I think that there are some reps where I thought the guards were getting pushed back, and then you see guys like Will Hernandez now being cleared to play. We're wondering, like, are the Bengals going to call up another guard with Lucas Patrick with the calf? He's got like a calf thing on or whatever, and he's like day to day. Also, too, I don't know if everybody knew this. Zach Taylor also said that Marco Wilson is week to week, so a little bit longer for him for a prospective comeback. Those are the guys that I thought that kind of stood out on the bad side of things. I'm trying to think of Dax Hill got bullied on a couple of reps I saw earlier too. He's working his way back in the slot.
Jordan Battle was looking good though. I don't think we mentioned him.
Jordan Battle's been straight. He's been on the opposite end of some of those plays. He made a real good play on Mike Gesicki. He had another play where, I mean, he was right there, hand in there. They get the catch off. Remember, even the Jamar Chase one in the back of the end zone. That's Juan Drago, but Battle's in the vicinity. There's a couple of plays where it's almost like PFF. If you don't really know the assignment or like, are they in cover 3 or is this cover 2? It's hard to say like somebody got cooked on it. But the one thing that I keep on saying is DJ Turner keeps on showing up a lot on all of this stuff. I saw Knight out of place on one where I thought that he was late to react to a Chase Brown run. For the most part, he's been looking pretty good. But those are the only ones. I was going to say this, and this is a good thing. I haven't seen anything bad on Orlando Brown since this has started, which is really good.
Tackles look really good. There was I think Bengals Drake posted a joint where he was talking about the pocket that Joe had. It looked really good.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that. That was a good one. Some of the play selection I was kind of bitching. I see Chef in the audience. Shout out to Chef. They were running this formation where they run like the end, and then it's like the wide receiver goes into motion, but they were doing it with Yoshi on the strong side. This just like from a play calling standpoint, when you're lining up on the right hand hash, you're limited with space. I question some of the play calls and some of the red zone stuff, and I know that they're just experimenting. But I would like to see like that be like flared out or even like a speed out or something like that if you're going to run that. And I want somebody with a little bit more speed. Yoshi running that. I didn't like that one. That's really it. It's hard to be really critical on guys to me sometimes when you don't really know the assignment, especially defensively. But for the most part, Joe's been looking okay. Cody Ford been get picked on a little bit. Even the one with the deep pass to Shemar, I posted a good clip I like, but Cody Ford's getting killed. That was the guy that I forgot. But those are the main guys that I thought stood out. I thought the one guy that people do not talk about enough is Evan McPherson. And I thought that a lot of those games last year, the difference between winning and losing, and we were talking about this one time in the offseason, you could probably go a bunch of games with bad defensive play and still eke out a couple of wins, but you can't have, there's 3, facets of a team, like offense, defense, and special teams. You can't have 2 out of 3 be weak. So you'll have a game like, I think that was the Commanders game and the Ravens game. Defense is bad and you're missing kicks. You can't have both. Like, you got to go 2 out of 3 every single week, whether, even in the Giants game. Remember, the offense was bad, but the defense was good. And then, special teams-wise, like, he didn't make any mistakes. So you win the game 2 out of 3. Is it a great offensive performance? Cowboys game, that game, remember, it was 20-20 at the end. We got the ball back because of a muff punt. Special teams comes up with the play. We come up, and then they give them an opportunity to make a play at the end of the game. So special teams and what the long snapper or the holder competition that's going on is something I'm really watching. But Evan McPherson is so important to this team. And I think it was Dan Horde, I think, was having like a special with him where he was talking, or interview with him, where he was talking about like the difference between year 1 versus year 2 and how the holes were different. And how the mechanics, and he's going back to what he was in the 2021, and he feels a lot better. And to me, there's no way you can make an argument that the Bengals can go anywhere, especially when you get into winter football, November football, and you got to kick deep kicks because your offense just can't put up 7 every time you come down the field. I think he's really, really important, and we haven't really been talking about McPherson in the special teams enough. And a lot of games, ironically, were lost that way last year.
That's a fact. Another thing is another big news nugget that came out was Bengals are allegedly like 6 to 10 million apart on this Trey Hendrickson situation. I think that's something that they can overcome. That seems like he could be in camp next week. I know we were talking before the show. That seems like bro will be here next week if that's the case. 6 to 10 million. That's not far, especially when they had those reports out there that, you know, they were super far. It was extremely low offer. That doesn't seem like they're that far apart. What are your thoughts on this?
And keep in mind, guarantees, not $6 to $10 million in salary.
Right, guarantees.
So you could kind of go like what we just did with Shamar and move some money up front, and it could be a win-win for both sides. And this is what I predict might happen. He might not get the guarantees that he wants later on, but much like Orlando Brown, you move the money up front, and now it's almost the same as if you would have got it in year 2. You just take that $6 to $10 million and move it up front and say, we'll cash you out right now. We just don't want to be on the hook for it in year 2, year 3. I don't know the parameters of the deal, but that's one thing that they could do is just say, yeah, we wanted to pay you 30-something, but you know what? We'll give you 41 year 1, and in year 2, we're taking it. You don't have those guarantees. Now, Trey Hendrickson goes off again and gets 20 sacks or something crazy, then he's going to be upset again. You see how this works? So it's like you can't really win with these people. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but the way that you can win is going to Midwest Best Barbecue.
Now they call T. Higgins, or you say number 5s. Either way, you'll be winning. Them hot honey lemon peppers. Now they call T. Higgins, or you say number 5s. Either way, you'll be winning. Them hot honey lemon peppers. Now they call T. Higgins, or you say number 5s. Either way, you'll be winning. And much love to Mama T, Uno and CTB. MB's got Bengals wings, and now we just added T's. 9 to 5 winning things. Gritty for Uno wings. We say yes, Sirski now. Like Aces and be saying that T got them new wings. Only at MB's. Honey lemon peppers. Now you can call them T's. Honey lemon peppers. Now they call T. Higgins. Or you say number 5s. Either way, you'll be winning. Them honey lemon peppers. Now they call T. Higgins. Or you say number 5.
That was nice. That was nice. I ain't gonna lie.
The 5. And don't forget that. Shout out to Midwest Best Barbecue 669 Justice Court in Loveland, Ohio. He did sound like Jeezy on there. Hey, if you guys are listening, let Tim know that he sounds like Jeezy. That hot honey lemon pepper must have been hitting crazy that night that Tim got in the booth. But shout out to Tim and Nicole over at Midwest Best Barbecue. They got the brisket sandwiches. Don't forget they had a barbecue. Don't forget they had the ice cream. I know it's real hot in the Natty right now, so make sure you stop in, get some good food. They got good sides. I don't know anything there that isn't good. They had the devil legs where they throw the barbecue in there sometimes from time to time. Sometimes they had a rib, so make sure you check out for that. Sometimes they had a shrimp. You just never know what they're going to have at Midwest Best Barbecue, so make sure you check them out. If you need any kind of catering for an event, you cannot go wrong with Midwest Best Barbecue.
Orrin Burks was at Midwest Best over the weekend too. He gave a good review on Midwest too.
We didn't tell him to go there. He just popped up. He must have heard. He must have heard what time it was.
Everybody know. And I'm gonna tell you something. I keep on telling you this too. I know a lot of people. Shout out to you. Shout out to anyone that doesn't, rock with pork. But if you do, ribs. One of the best ribs like I've ever had in my entire life. I'm not a crazy rib guy, but if I go to a barbecue spot or whatever, I'll try best ribs. And we don't talk about that a lot because the wings are so fire. Even oh my god, there's a lot of great. Now they got them little cinnamon poppers or whatever over there too, like them hot donuts or whatever. Amazing, but the ribs, I'm telling you, if you're a fan and you want fall off the bone ribs or whatever, that's the one. That's the go-to one that I like that I've ever been to.
Lemon pepper.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Cincinnati podcast. Coming up on the Cincinnati podcast.
Hello, world. Cincinnati.
You guys are the Yoshi creators, bro.
It's a new beginning. You know what that means, right?
But I know this, the whole NFL is scared of the big